Move the needle every day toward your goal. So what is it that you're working toward? You can very easily, at the end of the day, sit down and say, did I do what was required to move forward today? Yes or no? It doesn't have to be, I tried my hardest. I did my best. We victimize ourselves and then also give ourselves, like, that's a huge cop out for not getting what we're going after. It just, did I do what was required? Did I actually move the needle? Somebody a little while ago asked me a really great question about how do you know, like, how do you stay centered in yourself and be able to tell if something is a distraction really quickly? And she's got a big goal that she's working on and found herself just kind of like meandering more so than just being really direct in her purpose. And just as a little aside, if you've never read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, highly recommend it. In that, the language that he uses is definiteness of purpose versus drifting. So how do we know when we're staying in our centeredness and our definiteness of purpose and when we're drifting? And then can we course correct really quickly? Because it's very important to be able to quickly course correct. But we got to know if we're being distracted before we can course correct. And many times the path to our dreams and goals is, in fact, it's never a straight shot. Like, come on. It is never a straight shot from where we are to where we want to be with our goals and our dreams. It does the loop-de-loop and it does the spiral up. And sometimes it feels like we're going backwards and we have the up and we have the down, like all of that. That's a part of growth. That's just part of the human experience. But here's the thing. I heard a saying once that if a devil can't make you bad, then the devil will make you distracted. And holy cow, I don't know about you, but I have never experienced the wide variety of even good distractions that we have in today's world. And so, like, I'm Generation X, and so I grew up with an analog childhood, and young adulthood was digital. And so, like, the rise of the internet and email and cell phones and like all of that. And so, gosh, I remember a much simpler time when ideas and tasks and things didn't just fall out of my brain because I kept forgetting about them. But I think we're just in an environment that is filled with distractions, some that are healthy, others that are not so much. But remember, the devil can't make you bad. He will make you distracted. He's going to keep you distracted because the most important, like, you're here for several missions, but there's something that just really lights you up inside that you really want to share with other people. Like, that's just something that's a skill, that's a talent that you really want to develop. Like, what do you love to do? Is it going to bless other people's lives? Does it have the potential to bless their lives? Is it going to bless your life? Is it going to make you rely on a power higher than you called God, Heavenly Father, the Lord? Is it going to make you stretch? Does it feel big but also exciting? Does the result bring you joy? Like, the thought of the result bring you joy? Well, go for it then. That's your mission. That's part of your purpose. So, like, do it. If it's art, do art. Like, we make things so complicated. It doesn't have to be. All right. So how do we stay centered? And how do we know if it's, how do we understand if it's a distraction? So most of you are not going to like my answer because we live in a society that is so fast-paced, and we also have programming in us, particularly us high-achieving women, and really men do too. But us high performers and us high achievers have this programming that if we slow down, everything's going to fall apart. If we take a break without having it be one step from a breakdown, we're being lazy. That's a big one that I work with my clients. So we've got this programming and conditioning that we are up against as well. So it adds a layer of complication. And then this society where it's just our attention spans are much shorter. We are looking for like the next big hit, fast hit. We are addicted to dopamine, all of the different stimulants and all of that. And so, yeah, there's some layers of complication. This is why at first blush you're going to be like, do I really have to do that? Well, if you want to stay centered in yourself and understand distractions right away, yes, this is what you have to do. So I'm just going to give it to you. And this is coming from somebody who used to look at the clock every 12 seconds in a 3-minute meditation. All right. So like I've been there. I've done that. I've been that person. And so I understand like the whole, slow down to speed up. Can we speed up yet? But if you're really honest with yourself, your soul longs to slow down. Your heart longs to slow down and savor and be present and really, really experience and receive the magic and the majesty of life and relationships and like all of those things. But then our mind is like, if we are not constantly occupied doing something, then we are a waste of skin and we're using too much air. Like it's just weird. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to write down your goal. Like, what are you working towards? The odds of you reaching that goal increase by 25% if you will write it down. And I'm saying write it down daily, not just once. Write it down daily so that you remember first and foremost what it is that you're going for, the person that you expect you're going to become or who you want to become along the way. Like, write it down. Pen to paper connects mind and heart. And that's really, really important. So it doesn't even have to be a complete sentence. Surgeon, a journeyman, paid speaker, a published author, like whatever it is, married to my best friend, like married to my soulmate. Okay. So you write it down. And if you want to make it, make it even more powerful, you can put it in the present tense. I am married to my soulmate. I am a paid speaker. I am surgeon, whatever it is. That's an option too. But if you're just wanting to write it, just write it. It's fine. All right. So that's the first step. So this is a 3-step process. First step, write it down. The second step, visualize it. Oh no, visualization. Yeah, honey, you got to visualize it. All right. And this is why a morning routine or a morning ritual is so important. And this is why people who meditate tell you your life will change when you meditate, but you got to meditate in the right way. It's not just about like deep breathing for 5 minutes, although that's helpful, but it's about like calming the mind, and it's about connecting. It's about connecting to God. It's about connecting to your mission, connecting to your vision, your goal, whatever it is that you're working and what you're working on. And this actually helps you keep you centered in yourself. If you start off the day with writing down your goal, and then you're going to spend 3 to 5 minutes just breathing and visualizing as if it's already here. That's really, really important. Don't do the how. Don't go into how. Your brain's going to want you to do that or the timeline. Just pick a moment in the future where it's here. It's like a snapshot. And you're celebrating. And who is there with you? And what season of the year is it? And what are you wearing? And what's the look on your face? Are your eyes filled with tears because you're filled with gratitude? Do you have this huge megawatt smile on your face and your cheeks hurt because you can't stop from smiling? Does your heart feel so big and so full? Do you feel so supported? Do you feel so humbled that God would just shower down all these blessings on you? Like, who's there sharing in this celebration with you? And how do you feel? Most importantly, how do you feel? You've got to get it out of your head and into your body. So I know that if my body breaks out in goosebumps, I hit it. Like it went from my head to my body because it was a physical emotion or a physical feeling, rather. If my nose tingles and my eyes fill up with tears, I also know, oh man, I did it. Sometimes I'll just get like goosebumps that go really fast, like from my head down, like down my arms. Oh, that's another indication that we got it from the mind to the body. And that's really important because we got to learn how to embody it. And we embody it through visualizing what it's going to look like and how it's going to feel once it's here. And that takes time. And you're worth it. And you're worth it. Every single day, it takes time. So I'm going to review the steps again. Number 1, write it down every day in the morning. Number 2, visualize it. Spend 3 to 5 minutes visualizing it. Take some deep breaths at first to get yourself into your body and out of your head, but see if you can massage that out over time. If you can get 10 minutes of visualization. Oh my gosh, how amazing would that be? Because you like literally put yourself in the future and how it's going to feel. And what you've done physiologically in your brain is you've told your brain, go get that for me. Like literally, that's what you're doing. You're reprogramming your brain. I mean, your brain is a goal-achieving machine, and it goes after images and emotions. And that's why you want to picture it, but you also want to feel it. You want to feel it. Just picturing it without feeling it doesn't give the brain the instruction to go get it. But that feeling is like such strong instruction. And by the way, this works for you or against you. So if you're really afraid you're going to lose the one you love and you're visualizing them saying goodbye and walking away and you're feeling brokenhearted, well, don't be surprised if that ends up happening. That's how I created bankruptcy, because I was so afraid, and it's exactly what I didn't want. It's the only thing I ever thought about. That was more than 5 years ago. Learned a lot from that. Don't recommend it as a matter of course, but man, it turned into a really fantastic blessing. But that's the power of our mind, and that's the power of creativity and our power of creation. Those God-given creative powers that we are here to practice and we're here to use. And that's what I teach you how to do. And you are powerful beyond belief. You're magical beyond belief in very practical ways. So here's the practical, non-sexy things to do, but they're actually really, really fun because it keeps you locked in. It keeps you dialed in, centered in yourself, centered in that purpose that God has given you. So you feel connected with Him. You feel connected with yourself. You might not feel like you're good enough yet, but you know that God's enough to like lead you down the path. Like so many amazing things happen when you will do this. All right. So third step, move the needle every day toward your goal. So what is it that you're working toward? You can very easily at the end of the day sit down and say, did I do what was required to move forward today? Yes or no? It doesn't have to be, I tried my hardest. I did my best. We victimize ourselves and then also give ourselves, like, that's a huge cop out for not getting what we're going after. But just, did I do what was required? Did I actually move the needle? Did I pick up the phone and call somebody? People call this inspired action. I call it inspired action. I also call it following the nudges. Inspired action is very different from busy action. Busy action is usually filled with desperation. You don't want to be in the energy of desperation when you're going for a job or when you're having a discovery call with a potential client. You don't want to be in that energy. You want to be inspired. You want to be lit up. And so writing down your goal, visualizing it absolute as if it's already here, lights you up. You skipped the suck in your visualization. You went right to the end result and you felt into it. So I was like, oh, okay. Is there something that I can do to take a step forward today? And now because you are connected to, really you're connected to your prefrontal cortex, which is where you're resourceful, where your ideas come. You're out of like the limbic system in your brain, which is animal instinct and survival instinct and all of that. So you're in the proper place in your brain. But even more important than that, you're connected with the Lord and He can inspire you and He'll give you tiny little ideas and nudges that are just like, oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but why not? Or, oh man, I could create this along my way. That sounds like a lot of fun and people will be blessed. Like, it's really cool. But that's what inspired action is. It's action that's inspired by alignment. And you got to get into alignment. That's how you're centered, is when you are in alignment. Now, when you're in fear, you're out of alignment. You're off center. When you're in desperation, when you're in hurry, worry, rush, any of those things that indicate scarcity or lack of any kind, then you whacked yourself off center. So we just got to get back to center. And then you can tell very, very quickly if something is a distraction or if something is going to lead you toward what you want. And sometimes that something is a someone or an opportunity, like a trip. I have a former client who has become a very, very dear friend, and she loves to travel, and she has this huge mission that she is on. So she's super, super focused about what she wants to do, and she's way high vibe. So the thing is, you're raising your vibration, and you're literally connecting with opportunities that are on that vibration. That's why it can be so easy to get distracted, and why we need to know whether this is a distraction or not. So she tells me just the other day, oh man, I got this invitation to go to Europe and go hiking, and I love it, and it will be magical, and it's 10 days, and it's the price I can afford, except I'm really dialed into this mission right now. I was just like, What are you going to do? What are you going to do? This is a great opportunity. It's with people she absolutely loves. Is that going to lead you to your goal, or is that more of a distraction? And here's the thing. I'm not the one to tell her whether it's a distraction or whether that's part of like her course or part of her path. She's the only one that can determine that when she like goes into meditation, goes into prayer, talks it over with the Lord. How does she feel about it? And does it feel aligned or not? Does this feel like this is an opportunity to help move her movement and her message forward, or is it more of a distraction? And when you have that centeredness every day, and you've got your eye on what you're working toward and who you want to become and how you want to feel every day, it becomes much easier to understand distractions and note that they are distractions much, much faster, instead of like, getting 5 months down the path and you're like, crap, that's not actually leading me to my goal. Now, the thing that's nice about that is that when you are centered and when you do partner with God and with the Lord, He won't let you get 10 years down the wrong path without giving you some pretty strong signals along the way that you're not in your purpose. You'll feel it. You will totally feel it. You'll feel like something's off. You'll feel like you're a coward. Like you can feel remorse or regret. And those are good, like motivational emotions that help you get recentered and help you get like back aligned with God, in agreement with God, and fulfilling your purpose and your mission, and like all those really fun things. But he won't let you get too far down. I'm all about transparency. I'm a human becoming just like you are. So I got to share my story with you. I hired people that told me they had my best interests at heart and wanted me to be successful, and that just wasn't the case. And that happens in business all the time. We've all experienced betrayal, disappointment in others. Like I've certainly disappointed and betrayed others, not on purpose, but we're human. It's part of the human experience. And so like I veered off because I was relying on the expertness of somebody else and not my own guidance and not my own intuition so much. And I was impatient. And so I'll be honest with that. And it set me back several tens of thousands of dollars, but it's okay because everything's always working out for me. And money is the easiest thing in the world to make. And God's got me. And we'll be okay. And we are okay. And it feels amazing to actually have a deeper level of trust for me and for God and our partnership in where this company gets to go. Like I'm at another level of my own evolution, which means my business has to be as well. And that's scary. That's scary. There's a lot of fear in that and a lot of insecurities in that. And in my case, it was like, oh, you know how to do it for me. But I just, there's this thing called trust but verify. And I trusted, but I didn't verify. So I get to own that, trust but verify. And you know what? Really only good can come of this. Such wonderful lessons were made or were learned that were not punitive, but were just like, hey, like, oh yeah, this is not my first rodeo. Why am I thinking that this is my first rodeo? That's not to say that you never hire a coach or you don't hire an ads agency or you don't hire, a marketer or a tutor or any of that. Like that's not what I'm saying. And that's not my point. So don't take it to the extreme. But really, if I had been centered in myself and I would have been remember, write your goal down every day, visualize it every day, move the needle forward every day, then I would have been able to see, oh, this is actually a distraction. Oh, because I wouldn't have been impatient. And I was impatient. So that was my flag that I missed that happens when you're off center. So take a lesson from me, save yourself about, 60, 80 grand and just get centered every day. You know what? I'm journeying here along with you as well. And like I said, that was a really, really wonderful lesson to learn that truth be told, it just barely came to me as I'm recording this. Like, oh yeah, I was impatient. Oh yeah, I was in lack. I was in scarcity. Oh man. But that's okay. That's okay because everything will always work out and you're okay. And only good can come of this. I hope that is helpful to you. If it is, actually, I want to give you something to help you get in the right headspace, the right body space, the right heart space. Go ahead and pick up one of my free meditations. It's a guided meditation. Those are really, really helpful. I use guided meditations all the time to keep my conscious mind occupied. So you can click on the show notes and grab that link there for one of my free meditations. See how you like it. I hope that you will love it. I've heard really good, I've had great feedback from it. So hopefully you will like it too. And remember, the Lord loves you and prosperity becomes you. Bye-bye.